Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukhaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. My most respectful pranams to revered President Maharaj and Vice President Maharajjis. My respectful pranams to the senior elders who are in the audience. My pranams to revered Swami Vimalatmanandaji Maharaj, the president of this session. My love and best wishes to Swami Krishnanathanandaji, who is on the dais, and also my love and best wishes to the other monastic brothers who are in the audience, revered Mataji, and my dear devotees. It is extremely difficult to do justice to a life in 30 to 40 minutes, because let it be acknowledged at the outset that any attempt to grasp the vastness, depth, and the intensity of Swamiji's life will be necessarily conditioned by the limitation of our minds. In fact, try how hard we may, we will either end up becoming mystified with the sheer unlimitedness of his being, as Josephine MacLeod was, or we will end up confining this prophet of infinitude to our limited ideas of so-called greatness. Swamiji is a meeting point of all superlatives. Had he only delivered the universal speech in Chicago on the 11th September 1893, his place in the religious history of the world would have been assured. Had his only contribution to the world thought been the unique presentation of 4 yogas and their integration, he would be acclaimed as the prophet of synthesis. Had he only founded the Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission, he would have been immortalized as the creator of a neo-monasticism. Had his only gift to the world literature been his celebrated travelogue written in colloquial Bengali, he would have been hailed today as the originator of a new style in Bengali literature. That he gave us all these and more is a testament to the power of an extraordinary soul force being brought to bear upon diverse domains of human endeavors. No wonder Swamiji appears in a mind-boggling multiplicity of roles: religious teacher, philosopher, historian, patriot, social and economic thinker, literator, humorist, singer, sportsman, indeed the list could go on. And yet, we feel utterly helpless in making sense of the enigma called Vivekananda. Up against this dilemma, our only solution lies in turning to Sri Ramakrishna. Before Swamiji was born, Sri Ramakrishna had a divine vision. You all know that this person, Sri Ramakrishna, brought from the transcendental realm, Saptarshi Mandala. And that is why it is very difficult to understand the top or the bottom or the left or the right side of such a person. I will just tell you what Sister Christine told about Swami Vivekananda. Such persons, they do not belong to this planet. They just come for the time being, and they are quite conscious of their work, what they are supposed to do, and the moment they finish, they just go away, they vanish, and we think they are one among ourselves. Even Swami Turiyananji also thought like that after the, Swamiji is leaving the mortal coil. So that is why I am telling you that any attempt we are going to make is extremely difficult. Thus, quite literally, I am just, taking the trail of that Sri Ramakrishna's vision of that Saptarshi Mandala. I am not going into detail. Thus, quite literally, trailing the clouds of glory, Swamiji came down to earth on 12th January 1863. Now I just want to tell you, Swamiji was brought by Sri Ramakrishna. You all know that for a specific purpose. Since Swamiji হচ্ছেন অখণ্ডের ঘরের লোক, so naturally he belongs to the transcendental realm, and he was, first of all, Sri Ramakrishna was very eager to give him the Advaitic experience to him. But we all know that the first meeting between the Sri Ramakrishna and Narendranath, what happened? Because Narendranath was not ready to accept immediately the Advaitic experience, though he is coming from that realm. And we all know here, during Narendranath's subsequent visits, Sri Ramakrishna would encourage him to read aloud from the Advaitic text Astavakra Samhita, which affirms the sole reality of pure consciousness. Swamiji will not read it, but Sri Ramakrishna will pester him. He will say, it's all right, at least you read for my sake. So, since Narendranath had a deep love for Sri Ramakrishna, he will obey him, he will try to read it. However, Sri Ramakrishna knew that Narendra would be less persuaded by intellectual teaching than the direct spiritual experience. And that is why one day when Narendra was ridiculing the Advaitic idea that this jug is a god, this cup is a god, we too are god, he was ridiculing, Sri Ramakrishna touched him, and who immediately went into a spiritual state that lasted for several days. We all know that Swamiji, that Advaitic experience, it lasted for several days, and when Swamiji wanted to test it, you see in Hedua Park, that railings, Swamiji wanted to just see whether they are solid, whether he can hit his head with it. But Swamiji was found that everything is God. Everything is permeated by God. So hereafter, Narendranath could not deny the conclusions of the Advaita philosophy. This is how slowly, the meeting of the disciple and the Ashcharya Vakta Kushalasya Labda, because the teacher is unique and the disciple is also wonderful. So naturally, and that is why I am telling is, Sri Ramakrishna is slowly bringing him to the line, because Sri Ramakrishna from the day one, he knew what is the work the Narendranath is supposed to do in this world. So that is why he wanted to train him as quick as possible, but Narendra was not ready to take up. And you know that slowly when he was getting the Advaitic experience, now Narendra was, one more thing I should tell you, that in the Kashipur garden, his yearning for God was becoming more and more, and perhaps you all know that they lighted a dhuni. In fact, I should tell you that in 1886 December, that is, which was lighted in Atpur, before that in 1885 in Kashipur also the dhuni was lighted in the month of December only. And there also we will get lot of description that they decided to give away all their vasana kamana, their desires into the fire, and take up the highest goal of human existence, that is realization of God. So this is how Narendra was slowly being trained. But before that, I should also tell you that Sri Ramakrishna wanted Narendranath, Sri Ramakrishna wanted the disciple to appreciate the personal aspect of the Brahman too, that is the Mother Kali. Narendranath was not at all ready to accept the Mother Kali, the transcendental and the immanent aspect of the reality, the highest reality. But Sri Ramakrishna knew that Shaktir elakai kaj korte gele Shakti ke mantei hobe. If you have to work in the realm of Shakti, you have to accept the Shakti. But you all know that Narendra was not at all ready to accept that one. And we all know that there was, a sequence of events which led to Narendranath to accept that Shakti, that is Mother Kali, because he lost his father and his condition was, practically he was penniless, and you all know how he was struggling to provide a square meal to his mother, and he came to Sri Ramakrishna and told, "Sir, you should do something for this one." But Sri Ramakrishna told, "What can I do for you? Because you don't accept the mother." And anyhow, ultimately, he had to accept the mother. And you all know that later on, all the manifestations of Swamiji, how he derived all these things, I am going to tell you. Swept in the ecstatic love of Kali, Narendra could only pray to her for spiritual virtues and entirely forgot about his family's material difficulties. This is the beauty in the life of Swami Vivekananda. He is not born to ask anything for himself. Against this backdrop of Swamiji's life, let us focus on some of his subsequent messages and teachings that flowed from his spiritual experiences. Indeed, his spiritual certainty of God, being both transcendent and immanent, became the bedrock of his foundational message about the divinity of the soul and the spiritual unity of all existence. Out of this core message, Swamiji derived a spectacular array of spiritual ideals for the benefit of humanity. We find Romarola writing about him. I quote, "In the two words, equilibrium and synthesis, Vivekananda's constructive genius may be summed up. He embraced all the paths of the spirit, the four yogas are in their entirety, renunciation and service, art and science, religion and action, from the most spiritual to the most practical. Each of the ways that he taught had its own limits, but he himself had been through them all and embraced them all. As in a quadriga, he held the reins of all the ways to truth, and he travelled towards unity along them all simultaneously. He was the personification of the harmony of all human energy." Mind you, I repeat once again, he was the personification of the harmony of all human energy. That is why later on Swamiji is telling that famous quotation, "Each soul is potentially divine, the goal is to manifest that divinity." In the end, Swamiji is telling, do this either by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy, by one or more, and all of these, and be free. You just see the spectrum of the Swami Vivekananda's message. It is all encompassing. There is nobody is left out. It is the combination of four yogas that constitutes a healthy, balanced approach towards creating a well-rounded personality. Remember, Swami Vivekananda always used to stress the ideal of the present age is a harmonious, combination of all the four yogas. And Swami Vivekananda has also told, Ramakrishna Mushai, Prakrishta Rupe Dhruta Hoini. He is telling one who has not, balanced all the four yogas, his character is not cast in the mold of the Sri Ramakrishna properly. Ramakrishna Mushai, Prakrishta Rupe Dhruta Hoini. That is why it is the combination of all the four yogas. We have to bring it, and that is the need of the present age. When a Western disciple asked Swamiji if Buddha taught that many was real and ego unreal, while Orthodox Hinduism regarded the one as the real and the many as the unreal, Swamiji's spontaneous response was, Swamiji is telling, I am quoting, "Yes, and what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and I have added to this is that many and one are the same reality, perceived by the same mind at different times in different attitudes." This is a wonderful, finding. And I will tell you, before the advent of Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda, there was all Dvaita, Visishtadvaita and Advaita was watertight compartments. They will say, either you say you belong to this school or this school or this school. But when Swamiji, even before going to Chicago, when he was discussing in Madras, now it is Chennai, one Pandit suddenly told him, "Swamiji, you are telling this one that the Dvaita, Visishtadvaita and Advaita are realized by the same mind at the different, they are the stages and phases of the same mind." So immediately he told, "No Acharya has told like this. Then Swami Vivekananda told it was reserved for Vivekananda to tell that one. So that is why I am telling you that it is the synthesis, a great symphony of everything. In the Ramakrishna Vivekananda spectrum, you will not find that not a single problem in the world is there which has not been addressed by this Swami Vivekananda. Based on this understanding, selfless work becomes verily a mode of worship. Here, we can also recollect the prophetic utterance of Sri Ramakrishna in Dakshineshwar, Shivajnane Jiva Seva. Swami Vivekananda on that day had exclaimed, I have found a new light today. If ever I get the opportunity, I shall proclaim this truth all over the world. Remember one important thing this is, this Advaita was only confined to forest. বনের বেদান্তকে কি করে ঘরে ঘরে আনতে হবে এটা স্বামীজি তখন বলেছিলেন, ভগবান আমাকে যদি দিন দেয় তাহলে I will show to all persons. You see, this Advaita was only confined to the forest. It was the great glory of Swami Vivekananda and Sri Ramakrishna, because in his Guru only he found this one. And that is why Nivedita is always telling, you see, in the introduction to the complete works of Swami Vivekananda, Sister Nivedita is writing an introduction. There she is telling the Shastras, the Guru and the motherland, these are the three notes. They form the music of the works of the Swami Vivekananda. They mingle and form the works of the Swami Vivekananda, music of the works of the Swami Vivekananda. And that is why I am telling is that here, বনের বেদান্তকে কি করে ঘরে আনতে হয়, later on you will find that the Shivajnane Jiva Seva, even in, we will find, for example, I will tell you, in the practical Vedanta, I will draw your kind attention to these things. You know, in the theoretical Vedanta, there are 4 Mahavakyas, 4 great utterances. And I will draw your attention to the 4 great utterances of Swami Vivekananda in the practical Vedanta. And what is that practical Vedanta? That 4 great utterances, it happened only just in the room of Swami Vivekananda, just his passing away, few days before his passing away. And those 4 things, I will tell you, because this very word practical Vedanta was not at all known before the advent of Swami Vivekananda. And these, what are the 4 great utterances of Swami Vivekananda for this practical Vedanta? I will tell you here. Number 1 is, Swamiji told in this room only, before his passing away, just few days before, he told, श्रद्धावान हो, बीर्यवान हो, आत्मज्ञान लाभ करो, परहिताय जीवन पात करो, एटाई आमार इच्छा ओ आशीर्वाद. After uttering these things, Swamiji, within few days, he was no more in his mortal coil. Now I am going to tell you these 4 great utterances, the entire message what Swamiji wanted to give. You all know that the first one is Shraddha. Shraddha is very difficult to translate into English. We may say it is faith, but you know, only faith by faith we cannot say that one. And that is why in Kathopanishad commentary, Shankara says, Nachiketar moddhe শ্রদ্ধার আবির্ভাব হইল. You see, as if the Shraddha descended upon Nachiketa. And we all know in the Shastras, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Without Shraddha, we cannot have anything. And one more very, very interesting aspect I will tell you. Swamiji's first appearance in his birthplace, that is in Calcutta, after returning from the West, in his lecture, in that lecture, it was his first public appearance in his land, in his own land. And what he told in that lecture, you will find Shraddha, Shraddha, Shraddha. If we read that lecture, in that lecture we always find that Swamiji is telling that we have lost that Shraddha, we have to regain. Swamiji will never stop, you will never get tired in telling about this Shraddha. This is the first thing, because without Shraddha, you cannot achieve anything. And the second one, that is Virya. You can say it is a strength, or I can say it is a courage, whatever. The courage and the strength. And here also, in Shastra it is told, Nayatma balahinena labhya. This Atman cannot be attained by the weak. Only the strong can attain the Atman. So, the second one is, without having the strength, that is why Swamiji always used to tell, strength is life, weakness is death. And that is why Swamiji repeatedly used to say everything. My previous speaker told that he actually elaborated on this one, strength, 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 because Upanishads are the mine of strength. And that is why Swamiji always used to say, go back to the Upanishads, they are the mines of strength. Abhi, abhi, abhi. And the third thing is, that what is your goal? When you have Shraddha, when you have this one, the strength and courage, the third thing is Atmadjnana. Acquire the knowledge of the self. Attain to the knowledge of the self. And then later on, Parahitaya Jivan Path Karo. For example, I will tell you, Swamiji actually framed a word, Atmano Mokshattam Jagad Hitaya Cha. These formula is derived from the last two, great utterances, Atmadjnan Labh Karo, Ebong Parahitaya Jivan Path Karo. These are the four things. And Swamiji told, mind you, that Etai Amar Ichhe, Ebong Ashirvad. And not only that one, I will draw to your attention, one more important thing is that when the disciple Sharashchandra Chakravarti told that I want something because I am coming to you and other things, Swamiji told, this is the greatest. He told, I pray to Sri Ramakrishna, may his grace descend upon you. And Swamiji is telling there, Erche bodo jinish ami kichui jani na. Jadi ei, because the grace of Sri Ramakrishna is the highest thing I know only in this world. May that grace descend upon you so that you accomplish these four great utterances. And now I am going to tell you one very, very important thing. You know, here I was just seeing the picture. Shiva is there. And once again sitting here, I was thinking here, in this room only it happened, the incident that one day Swamiji was not feeling very well. So he told Sharashchandra Chakravarti to massage his body. But you know, he was not that adept in massaging the body. Immediately Swamiji told, you call Rakhal. You called Swami Brahmananda. And Swami Brahmanandaji came, and almost for 2 hours Swamiji massaged the body of Vivekananda. He was full of perspiration, ghemegechan. Afterwards, this disciple, he went back to the room of Raja Maharaj and asked, Maharaj, I have some doubt. Then immediately Raja Maharaj told, what? You are an object of so much, you are a Manas Putra of Sri Ramakrishna, and Swamiji holds you in such a high esteem. But today, what I saw, Swamiji is taking a personal seva from you. I got little bit confused. Then immediately Swami Brahmananji told, what? Swamiji is Shiva only. Swamiji is Shiva. Who is telling? Our first president, Swami Brahmananji. And the second president, our Swami Shivananji also, I am telling you. Brahmananji had that feeling, and Shivananji also. You know that incident in the Kashipur, where in that Kashipur, when night he was sleeping, he saw just Shiva is sleeping there, small, just, and whole night our Swami Shivananji could not sleep. So, our first and second president, they had the vision, they were very fully aware that Swami Vivekananda is the Shiva only. And that is why when I was looking at this one, I was feeling, yes, there is something meaning, and Swamiji at least will be very much pleased about this one. Now, one more thing, just before I conclude, I just want to tell you one important thing, that is, here our Shashi Maharaj, you all know, he composed a Panchaka, Vivekananda Panchaka. In that Vivekananda Panchaka, you know how much Shashi Maharaj had loved Swami Vivekananda. And I can also mention you here, Swamiji wrote 103 letters to all his Guru Bhais, these monks, brother monks. Out of 103 letters, 40 letters are written to Swami Brahmanandaji. And next highest letters are written to Swami Ramakrishna. 21 letters are written to Swami Ramakrishna. You also know, we all know that Swamiji himself wanted to take the name Ramakrishnananda for himself, but seeing the steadfast devotion of his Shashi Maharaj, he told, okay, you be Swami Ramakrishnananda. And 21 letters, because Swamiji loved Shashi Maharaj also very much, and Shashi Maharaj, what a great tribute he gives to Swami Vivekananda. It is the 5 verses on Swami Vivekananda, that is Viveka Panchakam. I will not read all the details. I will draw your attention to some of the best words which he has selected. You see, always established in the bliss of discrimination, for whom separating the real from the unreal was just a play. Anitya drishyeshu vivichya nityam tasmin samadhat ihasma leelaya. For whom bestowing the power of discrimination on others was just a pastime. Viveka danaika vinoda seelam, who was full of joy and beauty, who was ever ready to remove the threefold misery of the mankind, tritapa vimuki karoti. To such Swami Vivekananda, we bow down in reverence. It is a wonderful thing because, they are contemporary. A contemporary giving such high reverence to one of his brother disciples. That is why I am telling you the relationship. This is not the time for me to tell you what was the sweet relationship between Shashi Maharaj and Swami Vivekananda. Some other time we can discuss. I will tell only this much. And now I am going to tell you one more important thing, that is Swamiji is telling that may I be born again and again and suffer thousands of miseries so that I may worship the only God that exists, the only God I believe in, the sum total of all souls, and above all, my God the wicked, my God the miserable, my God the poor of all races, of all species, is the special object of my worship. Remember one thing, nobody earlier, whether I have a doubt, anybody, any Acharya had told that wicked my God. That is why I am telling you, it is only after the Sri Ramakrishna's coming only we could understand that is. And you know, the mother's universal love. And that is why these three persons, you know, ake teen, tine ek. It is only for the sake, for our understanding only. These three we have to discuss separately. Otherwise, all these three, they mingle together, and we always find the thing is that they have a one unique message, a universal message to the world at large. Before I conclude, I pray to Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother, may their choicest blessings be on all of us so that we all can become fit instruments in bringing their ideas, the man-making and character-building ideas to the humanity at large is my humble prayer. Thank you very much.